Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, I testify that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his chosen messenger. May Allah continue to be with each and every one of us. May the peace and mercy of Allah be upon our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, his companion, and to those of the Muslims, the entire Muslims still in his paths. May Allah continue to shower his mercy on all of us. My esteemed viewers, may Allah continue to protect you all. May Allah continue to be with you. May Allah make you not to lack. May our last statements be Kalimati Shahada. Our today's topic is going to center on the consequences for not remembering Allah. The consequences for not remembering Allah. Now, we are going to look at it from the glorious Quran, Surah Az-Zukhruf. That is Quran chapter 43, verse 36. I read, Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. وَمَن يَعْشُ عَنِ الذِّكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّدْ لَهُ شَيْطَانٌ فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. Allah is telling us in this verse that whoever turns away from the most merciful remembrance, whoever turns away from Allah's remembrance, Allah said, we will appoint a shaitan, that is a devil, who will be his companion. That is what Allah is telling us in this verse. So whoever that fail to remember, turns away from the remembrance of Allah, which Allah that is the most merciful. Allah is saying that we appoint for him a devil who will be his companion. May Allah save us from this. May Allah make us to remember him. Now, who are those people that actually turns away from Allah? Those people that turns away from Allah, they are the ones that do not remember Allah. They don't remember Allah. They don't worship Allah. And even when they worship Allah, they don't worship Allah in full concentration. Their mind is divided. They are thinking of other things, the worldly things, the mundane things of life. That is what they are thinking of. But those that worship Allah, they will not think of any other thing rather than Allah. So those people that turn away from Allah are those people that do not worship Allah. They do not worship him sincerely. Even when they do, they show off that they are worshiping Allah. That what they call riyahu. They do what we call show off. It's for people to see them that I'm worshiping Allah. If you are doing that, know that you are going astray. Allah is telling us that we should always remember him. And those people again that do not worship Allah, that do not remember Allah, are those people that when Islamic lectures are being given in form of waz, they don't go there. They think that they know it all. They don't know that listening to sermon is a great warning to them that will change their hearts, that will make their hearts to believe in Allah. If you don't do this, automatically you have deviated from Allah remembrance. Allah is warning us here that we should remember him. We should not be of those that do not remember him. Number one, we should not be of those when they worship Allah, they don't have that full concentration in worshiping Allah. We should not be of those that do not listen to the sermon, those that do not follow the commandment of Allah. These are the people that do not remember Allah. They do not worship Allah sincerely. Their heart is full of misguidance. So this verse is telling us that if you choose the path of not remembering Allah, Allah will appoint for you a shaitan, that is a devil, who will now be your what? Your companion. He will be your friend that will always be with you in the morning, all the time. He will be with you, leading you astray. Allah has nothing to do with you anymore. So this is a warning for all of us. We should always remember Allah. How do we not remember Allah? We should be worshiping Allah. We should be a true mu'min, a true believer. Who is a true believer? A true believer is the one that do not worship any other thing except Allah. He believes in all the commandments of Allah. He abstains from all what Allah has prescribed, prohibited, forbidden. He stay away from it because of what? He is conscious of Allah, and he believes that he will return to Allah, and on the day of judgment it is only Allah, by the mercy of Allah, that he will get paradise. These are the people that truly believe in Allah. They don't associate anything with Allah. Then another kind of believer, we have another kind of people that worship Allah. They are called fasik. They worship Allah. They are Muslims that worship Allah, but the only thing they do is that they do what Allah has frowned against, has warned us not to do. Maybe they involve themselves in drinking, smoking, fornicating, cheating, lying, etc. These are what they do. So these kind of people are fasik. They are Muslims, but they don't follow the commandments of Allah. They still abstain from it. Then we have other category of people called munafikun. The munafikun, they are the ones, they worship Allah. As they are worshiping Allah, they still associate partner with Allah. They don't totally believe in Allah. Which one do you belong among these three? Do you want to become a believer? Do you want to become a fasik? Do you want to become a munafikun? If I were you, I would choose to become a mu'min, to believe in Allah alone, not to what? Associate any partner with him, to have that total trust in Allah. Don't be a fasik, believing in Allah, then still disobeying Allah. Don't be a munafik, believing in Allah, still worshiping another thing beside Allah. Remember, be you a fasik, a munafik, remember the destination of these two will be hellfire. Do you want to be in hellfire? No. You want to be in Al-Jannah, which is paradise. So try to become what? A mu'min. I urge each and every one of us to become a mu'min, worshiping Allah alone. Don't become a fasik, one that worship Allah, still disobeying Allah. Don't become a munafik, one that worship Allah, still worship other things beside Allah. We should desist from being a munafik and a fasik. May Allah make us to become a mu'min. My esteemed viewers, he that fails to remember Allah, the similitude of the one that remember Allah and the one that does not remember Allah is like that of, it's like that person, it's like the living and the dead. That is the similitude. So he that remembers Allah, he is living, he is lively. He that does not remember Allah, he is dead. That is why on the day of judgment, those that do not remember Allah, while they were on this earth, be you fasik, be you a monafik, Allah will make them to be blind that day. And they will be asking Allah, in Surah Taha, it is there. They will not be asking Allah, why do you make us to be blind here? When we are on this, when we are in the dunya, when we are in the heart, we used to see clearly with our eyes. Why do you not choose to make us to be blind? Allah said, I guided you, I gave you the clear message, but you people refuse. Today you people are blind because you choose to become what? A fasik. You choose to become a munafikun. That is why you are blind. And that is how their destination will lead them to what? Hellfire. May Allah save us from hellfire. May Allah make us to become mu'min. May Allah refrain us away from becoming a fasik or a munafikun. There is a story of a pious man who happened to be in a land. He met himself in a land where every person was dead. He met everybody dead in that community. Nobody to speak with. He later came back in the night and raised up his hand and supplicated to Almighty Allah. He said, Allah, I want to show me what actually happened to this community. Nobody in that community. That community, Allah sent down his wrath to that community. So he now supplicated. Allah now made one of those that died to stand. Allah gave him life. He stood up and he spoke to this pious man, and he told him, do you know why all of us all died? He said, no. He said, we always refuse to remember Allah. We always refuse to thank Allah, especially when we eat. After eating, we will not thank Allah. That he that Allah now made him to talk to you, he used to thank Allah, but he never advised other people to be thanking Allah. That is why he's unable to. That's why Allah gave him life again, to tell you what actually happened. At the end of the day, when he said it, he still went. Allah took his soul again. He died. So what are we saying? If we have job to do, we have to preach the message. You don't need to know it alone. Then others do not know it. You can see that case now. That man that used to thank Allah, he refused to tell other people. But when the wrath of Allah came, the catastrophe came, he landed on everybody. He was not exempted. If he had been spreading the message, Allah couldn't have sent his wrath on them. So that is why we all, anywhere we are, we should always propagate Islam by preaching the message of Islam, the true message of Islam. Because these days, a lot of people now centered on prosperity in a law, preaching of prosperity. Prosperity is good, but we should not forget the commandments of Allah, what he has commanded us and what he has forbidden us not to do. We should stay clear away from it. May Allah help each and every one of us to become mu'min. May Allah accept this as an act of ibadah. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.